I would anticipate JMO out for the first 6 games. Saint, I would say we'll get him back anywhere from probably Monday to Carolina. It'll be anywhere in that window.
As you can see, Dan Campbell was not very informative, or he wasn't telling everybody exactly about what's going on. He made a joke saying, I expect JMO to be out for 6 weeks. And he said,
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
That's pretty good. And then he said, Amon-Ra St. Brown can be expected back anytime from Monday to the Panthers game. So let's talk about JMO, because that's what it is. JMO is like so polarizing. People are either on one side or the other. Either you hate him, you love him, and there's nobody that seems to be in the middle. But if this is the point where you're like, I saw people commenting on Twitter and obviously stuff like that, being like, oh, he's a bust, it's over, blah, blah, blah. You weren't going to have him for 6 weeks anyways. It's not like he's going to be missing actual meaningful games for this. It's a hamstring injury. Like, what? I don't understand that line of thinking of being like, oh, he's a bust, it's over because he got a hamstring injury and he's not going to play in games that he already wasn't going to play in. You know what I mean?
100%.
100%.
No, say it one more time. I apologize.
I don't understand why this is the jumping point for some people. Why this hamstring injury that's keeping him out of preseason is the jumping point for some people.
I mean,
I know you're getting there.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody should have a jumping point, but again, I think you're allowed to adjust your expectations of what you thought he was going to be, just based off what we've seen from now. And like, what is it? The saying that Flan always says, like, the more information, the more whatever the fuck it is. But the information that we have now, everything we're given now, between we agree it's kind of like bullshit, but the suspension, the ACL, freak, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You can't expect those things. That's not a character flaw.
Yeah.
It happened. But you know what is a tendency is injuries for some people. Some people are injury prone. I was listening to another show earlier, and someone was speaking about like Jeremy Maclin. Jeremy Maclin is a really good like wide receiver talent, but he just kept suffering those ACLs, MCLs. Granted, that could have been a different time in medicine, but if you look at it this way, if we were viewing this from like the Jets organization or the Vikings organization, we would be talking a little bit of shit about a piece they invested in, traded up into the top 15 pick to grab. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, from a non-biased standpoint, things aren't trending well, but there's no need to jump off the ship. I just think you need to adjust expectations. Everyone that knows
based
the game,
off of this hamstring injury,
it's
you need
more
to adjust expectations.
But is it just a hamstring injury, Smitty?
Is it anything out? Like what else is it?
He missed He missed the first week of pads because of another injury.
Yeah.
You drafted him with a torn ACL.
Which is that his fault?
He got suspended.
Is that
for
his
the
fault
gambling
that he was
situation.
drafted with the torn ACL?
No one's. I'm not attacking his character at all. I'm just saying you're concerned. You don't have to attack somebody's character to have concerns about them when they play football for your team.
Yeah.
There's also when we went to practice, was it underwhelming?
Yes.
Was his preseason game underwhelming?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so listen, we're filling up the resume. We're making what those things. You have the 2 circles.
Mm-hmm. The Venn diagram.
The Venn diagram. Thank
Yeah.
you. I didn't go to college.
The 2 circles.
The 2 circles. One more shot, 50 likes. There's a lot more packed into the negative than there is a positive right now. Mm-hmm. That's all there is. Just the expectation. I don't think there's any reason to jump off because there's enough football minds.
What about when we've seen him make plays? When we've seen him score the touchdown. When you saw him be wide open for another touchdown that was underthrown. You saw him have a touchdown called back. You saw that reverse where he gained 40 yards. If he had the same amount of targets as Garrett Wilson, or not Garrett Wilson, if he had the same amount of targets as Chris Olave, he would have scored 13 touchdowns.
Well, that's the issue, Spitty. He can't get healthy or right enough to be on the field to allow those targets. Not even in preseason. He's out for the preseason now.
Yeah, the preseason I'm not worried about.
Dan
You wanted to
Campbell-
rest guys for the
Dan
preseason
Campbell-
anyways.
I did. But this is a guy you have the 6 weeks to limber with, and he needs the reps. Dan Campbell wanted to douse him with reps, and we knew that was coming either way.
Yeah.
Like, that's the issue. And like, again, I'm not attacking his character. That's not my situation at all. I just – there are some concerns. And, again, I'm not – saying he's going to be – I'm just adjusting my expectation. I think he can still be great. He's going to continue to show you flashes of great, just like you mentioned in the little bit of time he's seen. But what I was going to say before then is, like, there's been enough football minds to speak on this young man with positivity. And that's even as recent as Tannenbaum on the Ermanni Networks with Maz. Said, I thought it was a great pick. I still think it's a great pick. The type of speed that he has, the only comps you're trying to make is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And when you have that on your team, it's a difference maker if you're able to utilize it the right way. Moving on from him, CJ, a guy that we both respect.
Yes.
A guy that we've grown to love. And just training camp alone.
Yeah.
With his energy and positivity and everything he brings to the table. It's already said he's a top wide receiver in the league.
Ermanni St. Brown feels the same way about him. Kirby Joseph feels the same way about him. Like, these guys see him on a daily basis, and they know.
So there's enough football minds to, like, stop yourself from jumping off the board completely, because I think that would just be irresponsible. Because, as you said, in a little bit of time that he did have while healthy, showed you he's explosive.
Yeah.
Showed you he can make plays. So to just completely jump off is kind of like wild, in my opinion. But I think you can adjust your expectations. That's where I'm at with it.
I don't think you can. I think you.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can, because you need to see it before you have expectations. And what I've seen out of him is in 16 targets, he had a touchdown.
Well, Spinner, you also have to continue with what else you've seen, too. You've seen the injuries. You've seen the inability to get on the field.
The inability to get on the field, again, is not unforeseen. We knew that coming into when we drafted him, that he wasn't going to play. That he wasn't going to play for a majority of the first season. Yes,
that's fine. But to miss
and
the
going
first
into
week
this
of
year
pads,
already, he wasn't going to play for 6 weeks.
Going into this year already, missed the first week of pads. Now out for the remainder of the preseason. Like, you have to include everything you've seen. On top of, you want to talk about the things we've seen him in game action against the Giants. It's not like they played the Giants once, right? Daniel Jones didn't play.
Yeah.
Darren Waller didn't play. No, it was the
Jared
Giants.
Goff didn't play.
You know who guard?
They weren't playing the Lions ones either.
Listen, but Jameson won, right?
He's
supposed to be
D1. Yeah.
So he's going against the Giants twos.
Yeah.
What was that stat lineup looking like?
Did you watch the breakdown of Jamo's plays?
I did.
Like, watch his snaps?
Yeah.
Because he's burning dudes. He's open down the field. Again, yeah, you can say
not all the time.
Not all the time, but on a majority of his plays, on multiple routes down the field, he was open.
You just have rose-colored goggles for that
I'm
guy.
just saying, man. If he comes in and week 6 or week 7, and he's still not playing, and he's still not doing anything,
you're not gonna say shit.
Then I'll start talking.
No, you won't.
But when he comes in and he's what we thought he was going to be, then everybody needs to shut the fuck up.
I think you're allowed to have.
You're allowed to have skepticism.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be a little, and that's what you want to be. But I've seen it when it was on the field. When he was live in NFL games, we saw him, make game-breaking plays when he got the ball in his hands. When he got the ball in his hands, he was making explosive plays.
That's true. But this is what I'm doing. And I've already said this all right. It's like, Zaquan, you're my guy. I love when you're in the chat. You participate. You always got great stuff. Not a great commentator. Easy a JMO hater. No. You just change. I've always told you, there's no bust with this guy. It's either Deshaun Jackson, who, by the way, still very fucking good.
Very good receiver.
You think very fond of when you say Deshaun Jackson.
Yes.
Tyreek Hill. I think the meter leaning a little bit more towards Deshaun Jackson. Not a bad thing, though. Like, Deshaun Jackson in the redraft probably goes first round.
Probably, yeah.
If not early second. I'm saying, like, this is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being realistic about the situation. I'm not telling anybody he's going to be a bust. I'm not telling anybody he's going to be a bad player. I'm just saying you're allowed to readjust your expectations for him. I did the same with I had to do the same with Okudah. Now, this is not nowhere near the same. I think Jameson's ceiling and potential is way higher than Okudah's is. It never was. But at some point down the line, okay, he's on the team that I love, which is Detroit Lions, right? He's only there to contribute and help the Detroit Lions win games. I have to format my way of supporting him from, like, higher expectations. I can't expect Jeff Okudah to be the number one cornerback when he's just not.
Yeah.
Right? I can't expect Jameson. I'm not gonna say I can't, but I'm just not gonna put the expectation of a Tyreek Hill.
You cannot use that.
No. What I'm saying is I'm
use that
just not going to
comparison.
put the expectations of a Tyreek Hill. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm changing. Why? From everything we've seen. What do you mean why? From the preseason game against fucking Michael Banks, whatever his name that got drafted out of Maryland over in New York.
Deontay Banks.
Yeah. You know, rookie DB, preseason action with the twos.
With Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle. Doesn't
or
matter.
not Tim Boyle. Might as well be Tim Boyle.
Might as well be
Nate
Tim Boyle.
Sudfeld.
Fucking, he's gone. Trashed. All due respect. Garbage.
Dude, speaking of garbage, Ritz, man, you're having a rough go here.
Ritz is having a rough go. Brendan Harris, if his career ended now, it would be a bust no matter what, because he only played 2 years. So you can't. That's not really fair.
Yeah, what? If anybody's career ended
but
after 2
I
years,
see the point you're trying to make. And there's just more in the Venn diagram. There's more in the bad right now than the good. That's all.
That's fair.
And that's all we're saying.
But I don't think you can hold the first year against him. That's what I'm saying. Because you knew what you were coming into when you drafted him.
Okay.
You knew you weren't going to get
That's
damn
fine.
near anything out of him in that year.
Minnesota on, though, when he's, like, part of the team.
And when he's getting how many snaps a
And
game?
some of it was, like, some of it
when
was,
he got 16 targets. 16 targets.
But also, you get targeted when you get open as well.
And he got open and he got a touchdown. He got open and he would have had another touchdown if he wasn't underthrown. He got open and got another touchdown and was called back on a.
I just think.
Was called back on a holding call.
I don't want to like sound like offensive here, but like you got to just like hop off in a minute here. Just look, just take a look at it for what it is right now. He's got to relax.
No, I'm saying I understand being upset with the suspension because of the gambling. But I don't hold the first year against him. I don't, because you knew what you were getting. You knew what you were going into. You knew you weren't going to get much out of him that year because he was coming off of an ACL tear
I don't either.
in the national championship game.
I don't either. But again, in the Venn diagram of information that we have, it would fill in the left side, the bad side.
Well, I mean, that's not.
Depending on which side you put here.
It's not a specified side.
I'm right-handed, so my good stuff's on the right.
That's fair. That's fair.